I personally never even considered this a possibility, but now it's hard to stop thinking about. All of those strange, weird, and creepy folks dreamed up by lonely and imaginative children could have very well been demons. If we're going by The Shining and the Sixth Sense rules here, we can assume that kids just have greater latent psychic abilities and would be able to see and interact with stuff like that without really trying too hard. So Gene Belcher's albino pal Ken, who does improvised hip-hop, could be a demon. The lovable, fuzzy, cuddly adventure pal Hobbs could be a demon. Blue from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, demon. Hell, that's an entire mansion jam-packed with demons. Today, we're gonna take a look at some imaginary friends that probably weren't exactly who they said they were. It's time for the top 5 demons pretending to be imaginary friends. Coming in at number 5, we've got Kelm. A lot of imaginary friends end up kind of disappearing on their own. The kid who conjured them uses the pal as a sort of surrogate friend, and once they grow up enough or make some real connections, it's all done. That was sort of the case with Kelm, but the thing is, Kelm might not have been dreamed up. Let me explain. More than a decade ago, a mother-daughter duo had to deal with the terrifying implications the young girl's imaginary friend brought along with it. When Madison, now a teenager, was about 3 years old, she started telling her mom about things her friend Kelm would do. Kelm singular, not part of a duo. This is important because up until that point, Madison had always made up friends in pairs with odd names. Then one day, just Kelm. Madison would play with this imaginary friend who watched over her like a father figure. She claimed that he was tall, had a beard, and was always wearing work clothes. So an adult imaginary friend. Weird. For a while, Madison's mom, Kelly, didn't think much of it. Then one day, Madison started singing a song that she claims to have learned from Kelm. There was nowhere else Madison could have learned this tune, and it was a pretty well-established one too. Daisy Bell, or as most folks might know it, a bicycle made for two. Creepy. Madison said Kelm would sing it to his baby. As the years went by, the imaginary friend caused other odd stuff to happen. The TV would turn on when nobody was around, and Kelm would throw ghostly temper tantrums when Madison didn't want to play. Things got pretty bad over time. According to Madison, his face got really dirty, his eyes became sunken, and his body became extremely thin, as if malnourished. One night, Kelm even tried to grab Madison by the wrist and drag her away. Not great. After a while, the mom, Kelly, decided to look into the history of her house and the houses around it. And wouldn't you know it, there used to be a neighbor known as Callum Beasley. Digging further, she discovered something horrifying. Callum had a daughter named Madeline, who had died when she was 3, right at the age Madison was when Kelm started showing up. Yowza. Coming in at number 4, we've got the Captain. Kids love the military. There's something about tales of guns, guts, and glory that really gets their imagination running. Just think about it. You got Army men, Captain Crunch, you name it. So when an imaginary man of military rank pops in your kid's life, you probably don't think too much of it, right? Right? In this case, that would be the wrong call. Oh no. A mother noticed that her 7-year-old son was spending a lot of time in his room and asked him about it. According to the kid, he was playing with his new ghost friend, the Captain. He had a big white beard like Santa and looked to be pretty old too. Now that's a red flag, but as far as the mom could see, there wasn't actually an old dude in her son's room, so she let it be. Eventually though, the Captain started telling the boy some upsetting things. He would constantly tell him that he would grow up to kill people, and the Captain would be the one to tell him who to kill. This was very upsetting to the boy, who would cry and say that he didn't want to be a killer. The Captain had an interesting rebuttal to this though. He told the boy that it was okay and that one day he would get used to killing. Numb to the carnage, indifferent to the bloodshed. Absolutely chilling. Kind of like an alternate Igor from the Velvet Room in Persona, but instead of instilling a teen with demons to fight back against the wrongs of the world, it's an elderly captain telling your young child to murder people. Sheesh. Coming in at number 3, we've got Grateful. That's a nice name, right? Such a positive connotation. Well, oftentimes great horror hides behind pleasant masks. This is just such a case. I'm going to transcribe exactly what this kid said about their imaginary friend. Word for word. Are you ready? This is my imaginary mum, Grateful. Her yellow eyelashes means she can see in the dark. She only comes to see me at nighttime. It scares me sometimes, but I always want her to come back. She has 2 babies in her belly. She's 14, but can never have a birthday. Excuse me? That is a terrifying imaginary mom if I've ever seen one. Ruby, are you okay? I'd like to hear how Ruby feels about Grateful these days, as I feel it's been a couple years since this was originally posted. There are just so many creepy details in there, I'm not entirely sure what to do about it. Like, Grateful is pregnant with twins, 14 years old, and can never have a baby. The implications are horrifying, and I'll leave it at that. Plus, she scares the kid, but the kid always wants her to come back? Stockholm Syndrome? I'm appalled, but that's about all there is to say about this one. Next demon pal. Coming in number 2, we've got the Bunny Man. Right off the bat, this one makes me think of Donnie Darko. Bad sign, pretty much immediately. Especially if this imaginary pal is hanging out with a child. Now, it's not exactly like the presence in Donnie Darko, the similarities are mostly superficial, but the story behind the Bunny Man is just as spooky, if not spookier. This tale comes from a babysitter who was taking care of a pair of twins one dark and stormy night. The kids kept telling them about the man in the Easter Bunny costume that would follow them around, which... oh no, but that's just the beginning. The kids were consistently scared of the Bunny Man, so much so that they were afraid to do some things alone. One night, while one of the twins was in the shower, the babysitter heard a bunch of noise. The other twin turned to the babysitter and said, "You need to go check on him." Almost immediately after this realization, the showering twin started screaming, "He's in here, he's in here!" Could you imagine? You're chilling with a kid, watching TV, and then all of a sudden their nightmare demon Bunny Man shows up beside the one you're not actively monitoring. Of course, by the time the babysitter got upstairs, the Bunny Man was nowhere to be found. The rest of the night was full of double-checking empty rooms and shining lights under furniture for sure. The whole twin telepathy element of this imaginary friend slash demon makes it even creepier. And finally at number 1, we've got Icy. Ice cold. That's what this imaginary friend is. They don't give a damn if you want to hear what they have to say. They're gonna say it right to you, and then you're gonna have to deal with it. So get this. Icy is the imaginary friend of a little girl who seems to know when people are going to die. Sound familiar? If anything, it reminds me of the Shinigami from Death Note. Somehow I don't think a child should have access to a pal like that, but here we are. While visiting his friend's house, the storyteller ran into his pal's little sister. He'd previously heard about Icy from her, but didn't think too much about it. However, on that particular day, Icy had a lot to say. The little sister told the storyteller that Icy knew when he was going to die, and then asked if he wanted to know about it. Put off by the morbid question, he replied that he didn't know when he was going to die, but hopefully it would happen when he was very old. According to Icy, no. They proceeded to let him know that it would be tonight. Damn, Icy, that's cold. So keep your imaginations under close watch, alright? You can let them run free, but know what's going on. You don't want to end up with a demonic pal that won't leave you alone. Or maybe you do. I'm not going to make too many assumptions. So what'd you think of the list? Did you agree with my picks? What's the scariest imaginary friend you've ever heard of? Did you ever have a questionable invisible pal? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more chitinous ones from the top 5 scary kids drawings. Io Arigue says, "Oh God, I am the number 666th person to like." Well, now you're gonna have to deal with the YouTube demons for the rest of your life. Ad hoc Shaj B says, "My brother used to draw demons. Nice memories. Thanks, Keeg." Hopefully they were strictly on paper and didn't make any unwelcome appearances. Rodney Kelly says, "When I was very young, pre-kindergarten, I would constantly have dreams about monsters. I would not have any way to describe these monsters until I found Lovecraft in my teens. I told an adult about these dreams and she said to dream about happy things, and for a while it worked. Then the monsters came back." I hear that certain substances prevent you from dreaming if you're still trying to avoid the demons. American Beltran says, "Let me see if I can find a picture my son drew some years ago where a killer enters the house and stabs us all in our beds, including his baby sister in her crib. He grew up normal like his mother, brackets me." Glad to hear that the drawing wasn't an ill omen, but if you're watching these videos... And Kustam says, "Nice, I won't be able to sleep anytime soon." Well, good, you've got more time to watch videos now. And that's all the time we have for today. I'm going to dig a hole so deep that I have no chance of climbing out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hooah! Guess who's back? Back again. It's me. And would be able to see and interact with stuff that... Dang it, that's a long sentence. And you're gonna listen to it. You're gonna have to deal with it. Nope, 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 hold on. You can let them run free, but...